Hey, welcome to the show. This is your girl, Felina V. Flossin.
And I'm Monique Scott, and we are so excited to have you join us today as we support and encourage women in 5 areas: the mind, body, and soul, while laughing more and loving more. And today we have with us a very special guest for our 5-star spotlight.
Yes, today we have with us the beautiful and vivacious CeCe Franklin McKenzie. CeCe is a stage 4 breast cancer survivor turned Lane Bryant runway model and a motivational speaker. And that's just a few things to know about this shero.
Yes.
And we will learn more to come. Welcome to the 5-Star Living Show, CeCe.
Hey, thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you join us. And in a few minutes, we're going to get to talk to you about your journey and how you got to be that runway model and more. But first, do you mind if we handle some of our 5-star business?
No, please, go ahead.
So when you hear that term, 5-star living, what does that mean to you in your world?
In my world, 5-star living is queendom. Yeah, it's just queendom. It's just no limits to life, living freely. I'm a very free spirit, and being able to move the way that you want to move.
Yes, and
like that.
Like that. And 5-star living is about that, balancing all those things: the mind, the body and soul, the loving, the laughing. What are some things that you do to bring balance in your life?
Oh, I make sure I have a very spiritual life. So I take time a lot to meditate, pray, and I do a lot of nature walks. I'm really in tune with these butterflies that keep flying in my face every day, and the hummingbirds, and I believe they all have messages for us. So I like to be outside a lot, and that helps me a lot.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and so CeCe, tell us, I ran off a couple titles, right? Survivor, runway model, motivational speaker. But if we get to the basics, who is CeCe?
CeCe, CeCe is a, like I said, free spirit. She's really silly.
I love it.
Really, really silly. Can try to make light out of anything. I love being not the center of attention, but I like being the light in the crowd. So if it's a dull, like if it's getting negative, I like to be the one that kind of brighten people's day and make them laugh and like make them forget about what it is that they're upset about. So.
Wow, very nice. So
really funny.
So on a cloudy day, you bring the sunshine?
Bring the light. Yep.
Bring the light. There ain't gonna be no darkness and clouds around you, huh?
No. That's not conducive with the type of life that I live. So no.
Indeed, indeed. So you shared on your story off camera that you call it a glorious journey. Please elaborate some of your glorious journey with our listeners.
Well, this is a journey that I never asked for, but life has its way of just kind of bringing you blessings. And this was a blessing in the form of stage 2 breast cancer when I was diagnosed in January of 2016. And I did the whole, the moment that you find out that you have cancer, it's like one of those moments, you don't know what to do. You're scared, you're mad, you're sad, but you're also I also wanted to fight. So what do we do? So we did aggressive chemotherapy. I had a lot of chemotherapy for 6 months, And what I had was stage 2A breast cancer, and I'm also BRCA1 positive. So that's a gene that is inside of my body that was given, I guess, inherited from my mom or something. And that gene mutates and makes itself like a big monster cancer, So I don't know, this journey, after the chemotherapy, we had a double mastectomy that happened. They were just wanting to take the one, and I said, well, why take the one when you can take the two? It's a combo deal. And I read that certain people were taking proactive approaches. So I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and have a hysterectomy also, because I have 3 children. So I'm like, I didn't want any more. Yeah. And I'm like, let's go ahead and get rid of that too, so we can prevent it from coming back. Okay. We did that, and that was all 2016. Wow. 2017, my life turned around. My spiritual mom signed me up with it was a event that happened in Las Vegas for runway modeling and for Lane Bryant. And I'm like, she's just signed me up. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Thank you, I think, huh?
So that's what I would say, like, when it fell in my lap, it just fell there. And I was like, okay, it sounds fun, So I got to meet the COOs and CEOs and the brand marketer and just all of the team. And they put me out there. And then from there, once people found out that I did that, I got called to I went out to New York and went to a friend of mine's, my godmother's runway show. And then from there, I met another survivor, and she's a clothing designer out in Brooklyn, New York. And she says, I want you to come back and I want you to, walk for me. And
wow.
I'm like, okay.
So you're saying that through the diagnosis, you got the opportunity to be a runway model for Lane Bryant.
Yeah.
And what I want to know is, wow. You said someone signed you up, but what made you actually show up?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Because some people,
I think I was just trying to take after everything that I had went through in 2016, I'm like, I'm going to take this back. Like, I'm still, fly, so I'm like,
right.
I'm gonna take this back. So when it was said, it was like right when I was getting back in tune with, my femininity, because when you lose breast, you kind of go through this, oh my gosh, I lost something I was born with. So I was like, let me just see. I like challenges. So I was like, let me just see if I can do this, and what the worst that I can do is trip and fall, So I was like, let me just go ahead and do it. And it worked out.
That's very sweet. Very sweet.
I did this.
What advice could you give to a woman who's struggling to live a balanced life?
You have to take that one day at a time, because there's no identical days for me. So right now, without the assistance of coffee, I am actually having a great morning. I couldn't say that for yesterday morning. So yesterday morning was a little different. There's a little aches and pains that come, because I still have a few tumors that are still around my body. And you kind of learn where they are, and you're like, oh, I know that's a tumor right there, so, but none of the days are identical, but you just take it day by day. And so the days that you have all the energy is the day that you get outside and enjoy nature and go try to jump rope with your 6-year-old and, you try to do everything that you possibly can because you have the energy to do so, and you're still living,
Right.
So.
I see.
Yeah.
So literally taking it day by day, which we should all learn
Like ahead of time, I get invited to certain things ahead of time, and I'm like, okay, I have to sit there and like tell my mind, I'm like, okay, you are going to be okay on that day.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like trying to manifest that to happen. And it does usually happen, but there are days where, the smile is like, the smile is permanent. So it doesn't matter if I'm in pain or not, I'm still going to smile about it. But,
nice.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice. And who is one person that you say or would give credit to that's made a huge difference in your life, your outlook, that keeps that smile on your face?
I'd have to say my mom and my mother. She passed away like 20 something years ago, but still she lives on with me. And then my aunt. You get to see the balance of both. My mother, on the other hand, when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then you have my aunt that was diagnosed with breast cancer, and my mom chose not to receive any treatment. And that's fine. She decided that, but my aunt, she decided to fight. Yeah. So I had these two like, people that are like very influential in my life. And I'm like, I think I want to go here, because if she can do it, I can do it. And technically I am named after her. So,
Right. So let me tell you, that may be your aunt, but you got to share her, because CJ is my heart. I love her so much. Amazing, amazing woman.
Yeah, she is. And she's a fighter. She is a fighter. She is a warrior queen. She is strength. When I have to think of strength, that's the only person I can think of is my aunt, because she's been through more than her fair share of this disease. And just to see her still kicking and going and still being a diva. It just lets me know that, hey, cancer is not the end all. It doesn't have to be the end all. But your mindset, if you train your mindset to just stay positive and just think of everything that the universe has given you, and just, I'm gonna be here long until I'm old and crunchy.
Yeah. Again, I love that. I love the visualization you gave of having the choice between. You had mom who said, I'm not getting treatments, and aunt who said, I'm a fighter, and you chose, hey, I'm going to go that route. Because in life, we have to look at things at examples and follow them, and either make that our journey or make it a better journey. Beyond the visualization, when you were actually going through the treatments and the surgeries, because I remember reading about your story, and you were saying that, came the time where you were so weak and there were things you couldn't do. What kept you going during those times and those moments? There's just somebody listening right now who may be like, I just can't do this. But what is it that kept you saying, I can do this, beyond, just having that one visualization or that one person who did it?
And constantly thinking the thought of when my mother did leave, and she left, and I was 12 years old, and so I was like, and I have 3 kids, they're now, 2 of them are now grown, but I was like, I can't leave them how, what I'm saying? Not how she left me, but just, I can't leave them. So seeing them every day and interacting with them every day didn't allow me to get too low, So they were always trying to get me to get up and dance and move around. And even though it was achy, they were like, come on, mommy, you can do it. And I'm like, okay. Nene.
I love it.
I love that. Wow. I love that. So your children.
My children that pushed me, and who pushes me still, my 6-year-old, because
the butterfly.
Yeah, my butterfly. And she just pushes me every day to just continue to be, at my best.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
then just having the support system is definitely pivotal, because you have to be real selfish with the type of energy that you allow around you, during something like this. You have to make sure that it's all positive all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
And you have been able to do some things that people only dream of, a runway. I'm going to keep bringing it up, a runway model. You get to speak to others and help encourage others through their journey. There's a person that's listening right now, right? And they're lacking the courage to move forward in their life or follow their dreams. What are some CeCe words of wisdom that you can share with them?
I would just say to do the things that you fear the most. Just do it. I don't know, you don't know what the outcome's going to be. You'll never know unless you just step out on faith, just step out and do it. And like I said, you can trip and fall, but you still can get back up and move on. Like you're dealing with something that's huge. And so if you can get through that, I say like this: if cancer couldn't beat me, I'm not afraid of anything else.
Wow. Say that.
I think it was Mark Twain that said, do the thing that you fear the most, and a death of fear is the death of fear is
we can just say
I'm getting chills.
We can say it right there. That is the death of fear. You do that.
Yeah. It's like, you got to just step out and do it. Like right now, got a lot of projects that are being done, and it's stepping out, because I still haven't had my reconstruction surgeries with the, breast or whatever. So I used to think that I looked weird and all this. You don't look weird. You're beautiful, and the body is just like, our bodies are just so beautiful the way that it is, and you can feel your best after bad breast. Okay.
Okay.
So.
Wow. With all that being said, what would you say is one of your greatest achievements? What are you most proud of?
What are you most proud of yourself for having achieved?
Yeah. I mean, once you're already a Lane Bryant runway model, I mean.
And it doesn't have to be that huge either, CeCe. Even if it's something really small, like something you were successful, what is something that you're just really proud of yourself for doing, or getting through, or helping someone, or what comes to mind?
Just being able to be my quirky self, just being able to step out, and I'm really proud of, because I used to be really scary, and this is something that's real small, right?
Okay, yes.
I said, everyone has probably been to New York, okay? And you hear the stories, like New York is a scary place, it's the Big Apple and all this, and I challenged myself one day, got a babysitter for my kids, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to New York by myself.
What?
But I was terrified.
What?
I was terrified.
That is huge.
I said, okay, so I purchased a ticket, got a room, and I made sure that it was like, you can't get refunded, so I have to go. Went out there by myself. From the flight, it must have been like meant to be. So from the flight to getting off of the flight, there was a lady that was just passing compliments, and I was like, thank you. Got off the plane, it was cold, the police officer helped me find where I was supposed to go, because I was lost. And just getting to the hotel and deciding that, hey, I'm just gonna walk outside of this hotel and get lost in the city, and if I get too lost, I'll call an Uber,
Right.
And then I found my way. I walked out of the hotel room by myself, walked in a direction that the flow was going, and found my way to Central Park. And had one of those little carriage rides around the park, and I was just out there by myself. So it was like, that was something that I feared, because I'm like, you hear some stories about New York, like they kill you in the daylight, they don't wait till night to
Yes.
So I'm like, no, but so that's my butterfly.
Hi, butterfly.
It was like one of those, I was really proud of myself, because I'm like, I stepped out and I was fearful. So on the plane, I'm like, Lord, please just get the plane there please. And when I got there, I started crying, and the stewardess, she was like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, it's just everything is going great.
That's big. That's a big accomplishment. I like that.
Yeah, you just don't know. Somebody listening heard that and was like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Buy me a ticket. I've always wanted to go to New York, and she went by herself. I'm going. So
a non-refundable ticket.
That's when you're serious.
It got real right then.
Right. I'm gonna give them
is that there's angels around us all the time, right?
Yes.
And when I went on that carriage ride, the gentleman that took me, it was an African guy. He took me. He knew I wasn't from there because I was too smiley and too friendly. And he says, well, what are you going to do? It was a 45-minute ride. And so he says, well, what are you going to do afterwards? I said, I'm just going to explore the city. I'm going to go catch my first subway. I'm going to go and do this and do that. And he's like, okay. He says, well, I don't know if you know that it's really dangerous out here. He says, so I'm gonna follow you, and I'm just gonna take you to go see these places so you won't be alone, okay? And so he took me to Rockefeller Center, and just gentlemen. Yeah,
that is
me around for my first subway ride, and the subway really does smell.
Yeah, right. It does.
right.
Like everything awful. That's amazing. Living angels, huh? Just walking around every day.
Yeah.
CeCe, what else would you like to share with the audience? Is there any questions we forgot to ask?
No, just to the person who's listening, the man or woman, because men can also have breast cancer. Just, especially having stage 4, that number hit me because they were, you think stage 4, you think terminal. And stage 4 doesn't have to mean terminal. There are a lot of people who are living with stage 4, and they live long lives, and I do want to say that early detection saves lives. So you have to make sure that when you're in the shower, you're doing your breast exams, and anything that you feel, we got to listen to our bodies. Our body says a lot. And we just sometimes don't listen to it because we're numbing it with alcohol, or too much alcohol, or too much of this, or too much of that. So we can't hear what our bodies are saying. Just make sure you eat well and drink lots of water and try to get out and exercise. But just because you have cancer doesn't mean that you have to die from it. That old person dies. Yeah, because you're going to turn into a new butterfly. Oh, I love butterflies.
You've been a breath of inspiration. CeCe, we thank you so much for sharing your stories. I have learned some things just listening to you, and I am inspired by you. So thank you, and thank you. Tell our listeners how they can find you online if they want to know more about your story.
Oh, well, if you wanted to go to my Instagram, it's CeCe Red3. Got to open it back up today.
Right.
If you want to go to Facebook, it's CeCe Franklin McKenzie. I have a website, cecejourney.com. And if you are looking for travel, I have ccefranklin.intellitravel.com. or you can just call me 702-934-9767. I'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Wow.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
We'll make sure to include those links
Thank
in
you.
our YouTube for you, for
You
sure.
guys are so beautiful. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for listening, because sometimes, you feel like your voice is not heard. So I thank you for giving me the voice to be able to speak with your viewers. And I'm thankful. I'm really thankful.
Thank you for sharing your story with us and allowing us to be a part of your journey, CeCe. You are so appreciated.
Thank you so much. And when
So-
you have the beautiful and magnificent Miss CJ, you tell her, or if she sees this, hi.
Yeah, big shout out to CJ, your namesake. Indeed. Well, wow, great show. We want to thank you for listening and joining us on this 5-star day. We believe in you, and we believe that you will have a 5-star day starting right now.
We know that you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be right here with us. And so for that, we thank you. And we look forward to seeing you on Facebook at 5-Star Living Show. And join us in the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle Accountability Group, because we want you to laugh more and love more while taking care of your mind, body, and soul.
Indeed. So do me a favor, on purpose, make it a point to have a 5-star day.
The 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by MVPphotographer.com. And a special thanks goes out to our super producer, Mr. Dana Scott. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the 5-Star Living Show. Take care of your mind, body, and soul. And remember, love more and laugh more.